Live from Columbia, this is WIS News 10 Sunrise. Live, local, now.
Good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on Sunrise at 4:30. I'm Cami Raisler. A lot of news headlines to get to today, but before we get to all of that, we do have to take a look at our forecast. Meteorologist Adam Clark joins us now with all the details. Adam, you could actually just do the weather on my shirt with the...
I know, that's what I was looking at. I was taking a look at that shirt and I was like, you need to get on the green screen over here.
It's like a weatherman's favorite color, right?
It is. I can never wear that color. I never can. No, not that color green. I don't even flirt with any sort of green whatsoever. So, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. We used to have a blanket at my old station. I would pull it up like this. And,
floating head.
Like, I'm head meteorologist.
Save that for Halloween.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that Halloween. All right. Yeah, we've got some showers and storms up to our north currently, but really around Columbia, we're dry. But up in York County, some lightning, some thunder up that way. Temperatures 77 degrees at 75 in Lexington, 74 around St. Matthews, and 73 in Newberry. Let's take you through the day today. Around 9 o'clock, partly cloudy skies. By noon, we've got a few storms popping. And then by 3 o'clock, more activity than what we've seen in a few days. So about a 50% chance of some thunder this afternoon and evening as well. Around 5 o'clock, they become a little heavier in Kershaw County, around Orangeburg, even sections of southern Lexington County into western Orangeburg County there too. By 9 o'clock, it starts to dry up, and we even have a couple isolated storms for tonight, which is not great because we've got the Perseids that are going to be out again, the meteor shower, 50% chance of scattered thunder today, 92 degrees, 90 at 1 o'clock, 87 at 5 o'clock. As I mentioned, the Perseids, again, 78 degrees and a 40% chance of storms, a good bit of cloud coverage, but it's about 40 to 50 meteors per hour, and it's peaking right now, and it looks to peak on Friday as well, tomorrow night into Friday morning, and there should be a few less clouds. That's the hope. I'll show you that information all coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Moving along now to our Decision 2020 coverage this morning. Joe Biden has selected Senator Kamala Harris of California as his running mate. If elected, the 55-year-old would be the nation's first female, Black, and Asian American vice president. Biden's decision ends weeks of intense speculation over who would complete the Democratic ticket, which was set in motion during the campaign when he pledged to choose a woman as his running mate. In a campaign email to supporters, Biden wrote in part that in choosing Harris, he wanted someone smart, tough, and ready to lead. Harris tweeted after the announcement that she's honored to join Biden as the party's nominee for vice president. Former President Barack Obama praises Joe Biden's selection of Senator Kamala Harris as his vice presidential running mate. In a statement released late yesterday, former President Obama says in part that Joe Biden nailed the decision and that he has an ideal partner to help him tackle very real challenges America faces. And within hours of the Harris selection, Vice President Mike Pence weighed in on his Democratic counterpart. Pence pegged Harris as part of a radical left Democratic Party during an event before Arizona supporters. And Pence said he looks forward to their debate stage showdown. And shortly after the announcement by Biden was made, we heard from South Carolina Congressman James Clyburn during a virtual teleconference. Clyburn says he was pleased with Biden's pick, but says he would have been pleased with any of the candidates the presumptive Democratic nominee had under consideration.
So it gives all African Americans, and should be all Americans, the kind of impetus that they need to get this man elected, because we got a very divisive force in the White House today that we ought to really work hard to get beyond.
And South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted Senator Kamala Harris will be a formidable opponent. She is smart, aggressive, and has fully bought into the Democratic Party's very liberal agenda. He ended his tweet with #Trump2020. Turning now now to our coverage of the spread of COVID-19 around our state. Just yesterday, we saw an increase in the number of new COVID-19 cases reported in South Carolina, but the total of new cases is still under 1,000. In all, DHEC announced 928 new confirmed cases of COVID-19. That is an increase of over 200 from the number of new cases we saw Monday. Yesterday's numbers include 95 new cases in Richland County, 33 in Lexington County, and 19 in Sumter County. We have also learned of 45 additional COVID-19 related deaths in our state. The total number of those who have died due to the coronavirus now passes the 2,000 mark. Just to point out, the number 49 that you can see there on your screen includes probable deaths. Nearly all of the 45 confirmed deaths took place during the month of August, with one death happening in June. They also include 2 deaths in Kershaw County, 2 in Lexington County, 3 in Orangeburg County, 1 in Richland County, and 1 in Sumter County. And we did see a large increase in the percent positive number, while the number of those being tested continues to dip. State health officials say Monday that just more than 4,600 people in our state were tested for COVID-19, and the percent positive was back up to 20%. There are currently 1,330 COVID-19 patients in the hospital. On the heels of the Department of Education approving Richland 2's plan to head back to school with no immediate in-person option, Richland 2's Board of Trustees met last night to discuss the specifics on what the virtual classroom will look like when students start school on August 31st. Our Emily Wakeman listened into that meeting and spoke with Richland 2 faculty members who designed the virtual plans.
Well, tonight's focus was on the Phase 1 reopening, where students will get to choose between 2 virtual options. And tonight, a teacher gave a live look at what the virtual classroom will look like when students head back to school.
I want you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and show me what kind of day you're having. Oh man, I am loving it. I am seeing so many thumbs up. That makes me so happy to see all of this.
One Richland school teacher says this is what the classroom will look like for first grade students beginning school on August 31st virtually.
Unmute your microphone and I want you guys to blend this word with me.
Dr. Marshall Franklin says there will be 4 parts to each virtual lesson: an introduction video, a live lesson with the teacher, independent work, and a sharing portion where students share with their siblings and parents what they've learned.
It organizes the learning into chunks. That's where some of the chunks of learning are synchronous, which means students will be with their teacher directly online, and then some of the learning components are asynchronous, which means it will be activities that the student will complete on their own.
Richland 2 officials say this will be the setup until Phase 2 begins, which is a hybrid schedule with students spending part of the week physically in the classroom.
Many other school districts caved to political pressure, and I appreciate the fact that this board and administration held strong in our conviction that e-learning is the safest mechanism for our students at this time.
Superintendent Dr. Baron Davis says the Department of Education asked them to reevaluate their plan every 2 weeks to return to in-person learning as soon as possible.
But what we do want to do is put safety of our students first, and safety of all, and that's all students in the classroom.
Now, the board also voted to suspend a few policies for when students do head back to the classroom, including their International Foreign Exchange Student Program, as well as their school visitors policy. In Columbia, Emily Wakeman, WIS News 10.
Superintendent Davis also stressed that the free meal delivery program ended this week, but parents can still pick up free lunches at designated schools until school starts. Now, the Richland 1 School Board met last night as well to discuss its plans for the upcoming school year. The plan approved for the district by the Department of Education is similar to Richland 2 in that they are starting virtually, contingent on reevaluating every 2 weeks. Last night, the Board of School Commissioners in Richland 1 approved the district's revised calendar, which moves the start date from August 19th to the 31st. Last day of school is set to be on June 11th. The South Carolina Department of Education is offering free training for virtual instruction. It will be available for up to 6,000 teachers and principals over the course of 2020 and 2021. The course is being funded by money from the CARES Act. Training sessions are taught live and are available on a first-come, first-served basis, with sessions spread out over the fall and spring semesters. They will cover topics ranging from planning, instruction, and providing an engaging virtual classroom environment. And if you remember, in mid-July, Governor Henry McMaster urged every school to provide a 5-day-a-week in-person option and a virtual option. He argued virtual learning was not as good for some students as in-person learning and pushed for the decision to be left up to parents. Well, Molly Spearman, the state superintendent, said she did not attend that news conference because she didn't agree and issued a statement saying in part, quote, "We cannot, however, turn a blind eye to the health and safety of our students and staff when the spread of the virus in some of our communities is among the highest in the world." Well, things changed on July 17th when the South Carolina Department of Education sent a letter to districts saying in-person learning must be an option for a plan to be approved. That forced schools with virtual-only options to adjust to in-person hybrid or blended models. Any district that was required to have an in-person learning option will be allowed to reevaluate their options every 2 weeks starting August 31st. All right, still to come here on Sunrise, some schools have already flunked their first test on safety. More details on the controversy regarding sending kids back to school when we come back. Continuing coverage now this morning, almost 1,000 students and staff are now quarantined in one school district as the debate rages over returning children to school. NBC's Sam Brock has more.
As students head back to class, some schools have already flunked their first test on safety. In Cherokee County, Georgia, one high school is closing through at least the end of the month after 6 days of school and 59 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Now, more than 900 students and staff are in quarantine. The district, which opened last week with a mandatory mask policy for adults, but none for students, says it anticipated positive tests, which is why we put a system into place to quickly contact trace and mandate quarantines. Another Georgia high school with an optional mask policy also stopped in-person learning after 9 positive cases.
I just felt like our kids are being used as guinea pigs, and it's a little enraging when you think about it that way.
Concerns about reopening are widespread.
With more schools in Florida reopening their doors, new numbers from the state's Department of Health, COVID-19 cases for kids 17 and under jumping more than 130% in the last month.
For some reason, they think school's a magical place and we don't need to be 6 feet apart.
This Florida high school teacher, Eric Rodriguez, is concerned about safety in Suwannee County schools.
They were not going to require masks. They didn't want us to be the mask police, but they'll have us police other items of dress code.
The superintendent there says masks are encouraged and available, but not mandated, which is the way it should be in the USA. Adding, the district had a great first day, and the policy was always to space as space allows. But getting enough space is an obstacle, especially in places like New York City, where Samantha Daves teaches public high school with more than 3,000 students. She says the city's reopening plan doesn't go far enough.
There are issues that are above the school level that need to be solved, such as testing and a quick turnaround time on testing that the school as its own unit can't fix.
And time to address those concerns is running out. Sam Brock, NBC News, Jacksonville.
Let's take a look at what's going on today. We've got a better chance of some showers and storms, heavy rain and lightning, and highs in the 80s. We're going to be in the 80s. That's on the way. Got a few showers up in York County, Cherokee County. They're all moving over to the east. You can see here in Columbia, we don't have any activity, but this afternoon, a 50% chance of some storms. This is a high pressure versus the low pressure. It's early. All right, so a 50% chance of storms because of this low. And we get a little more moisture as this low approaches, and our chance of rain goes up on Thursday to 60%. Temperatures a bit cooler. We've got more clouds, better chance of rain, so our temperatures are going to be cooler because of that. And this low is just kind of hanging out with us. It's a little wave in the jet stream by around this weekend, but it's still lingering. It's cut off from the jet actually, and we've got this nice southwest flow. Gives us a 60% chance of some rain and storms. So let's take you hour by hour today. Around lunchtime, a few showers here and there. By around 3 o'clock, we're starting to get wet. We've got some thunderstorms developing and some stronger ones by around 6 o'clock in the evening. clears up a bit at 9, but notice we've got partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies and even a dash of rain at 1 o'clock in the morning. By Thursday, dry in the morning into the afternoon. We've got some storms at 3 o'clock. It's a chance of storms, so we've got a chance at in the afternoon hours on Thursday. Now, we're also looking at Tropical Depression 11. Currently at 35 miles per hour, it's expected to become a tropical storm here shortly as we head towards right around this evening with 40-mile-per-hour winds, 45, 50, 60. And then you can notice it weakens. And why does it weaken? We've got dry air out ahead of it, so it's going to move into this dry air and kind of inhibit its growth, actually deter its growth, actually. So a 60% chance of storms Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So I increased the 60% chance on Saturday there. We're still in the upper 80s though, 88 degrees Sunday, 89 on Monday with a 30% chance of a few showers around.
.450, good morning, welcome back. Russia claims it has approved the first COVID-19 vaccine in the world, but there is skepticism about the product that comes from Moscow. Meanwhile, work on U.S. vaccines does continue. John Lawrence has more this morning.
Perhaps some progress on a coronavirus vaccine.
Everything has been working remarkably smoothly. The patients are wonderful. They're here. They can't wait to make their contribution.
The Trump administration has inked a $1.5 billion deal with Moderna Inc., one of the companies already producing a vaccine before proof it works.
We're on track to rapidly produce 100 million doses as soon as the vaccine is approved, and up to 500 million shortly thereafter.
In an interview with CNN last month, principal investigator Dr. Paul Bradley says clinical trials are underway. Half of the subjects had the vaccine, the other half a placebo.
Everyone gets treated as if they got the same thing, and we wait and we watch. We're looking for any side effects, any complaints.
The deal with Moderna is part of Operation Warp Speed, which is the government's push to get a vaccine available as quickly and safely as possible.
There's a process that takes place at the FDA. It's not one person who says, we're good to go. You know, it goes to a bunch of data scientists who look at the data, they compare it to other data, and then they render these recommendations.
If testing goes well, experts say a vaccine will possibly be available to the public early next year. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
The World Health Organization says there are more than 24 potential COVID-19 vaccines that are in human trials. Still ahead here on Sunrise, one COVID-19 survivor is speaking up about a symptom of the virus that has impacted her life for the long haul. In our health alert this morning, a new poll finds fear of the coronavirus is keeping parents from getting their children's routine vaccines. The national survey by Orlando Health shows 84% of parents think vaccines are the best way to prevent infectious disease. But 2/3 are still nervous to take their kids to the pediatrician's office to get those vaccines. Experts say it's imperative that parents keep their child's routine visits and get all recommended vaccines. Well, it's a side effect of COVID-19 we're just beginning to learn more about, those being impacted for the long haul. While many point to the overall high survival rates in younger people, one survivor from Texas says those numbers are not telling the full story about what it's like to battle this virus. Devin Skillian reports.
You don't know how it's going to affect you or someone else. You don't know.
Jolene Nelson started feeling sick on March 27th. She thought she was getting a cold, not COVID-19.
I was healthy. I was completely fine.
The week before, she had lost her sense of smell and taste, and back then that really wasn't yet a recognized symptom. But Jolene was just 40, healthy and active.
I honestly would have thought I would be sick too for 2 weeks and then get over it.
Jolene is a physical therapist. For months now, she has meticulously documented her symptoms, which now number more than 50.
It's been pretty severe. There's been 2 times my boyfriend had to call 911. The most frightening have been I'm now having seizures from COVID, hallucinating. I have brain fog. I have electrical shock running through my body. It feels like an electrical centipede.
This is video Jolene recorded of herself suffering a seizure in bed. She recently underwent a 48-hour EEG to monitor her seizures.
can't work. I can't drive. My license is being taken away now, my driver license. I can't go on my jet ski. I can't go for a bike ride.
She can't even go for a walk unless someone goes with her. Jolene has become vocal on social media, sharing her story to warn others. It is difficult to read posts that claim the virus is a hoax, that it's like the flu, or that it doesn't impact younger people.
It makes me very angry, and it makes me upset because you don't know if you're going to be one of the unlucky ones that's going to have long-lasting symptoms.
Her advice to others?
I would tell them definitely wear a mask, social distance. Just be safe. Don't go to large parties. Don't go out to the bars. You know, people will get upset about saying that, but that's how it's spreading. And just be careful. It's life-changing. It's completely changed my life. Trying to find the silver lining in it. I don't see it yet.
Through the process of being treated for this, doctors discovered Jolene has hyperthyroidism, something she never knew. That may help explain why she was hit so hard, but no one knows for sure. The CDC recently found 1 in 5 previously healthy young adults were not back to their usual state of health 2 to 3 weeks after testing positive. Many of the so-called long haulers have actually formed online groups to learn more about what others are experiencing. The time now is 4:57. A live look over our nation's capital this morning. More news and weather for you coming up at the top of the hour.